To be confident is to have no fear of the unknown, of other people, or of the outcome. And it's beneficial for many obvious reasons, including that it minimizes stress, it improves your performance, and it generally gets you more respect. So in this video, I'm going to go over just a few of the most fundamental ingredients of this very powerful and important personality trait. So I found that historically, the more I worried about the judgments of others, the less confident I felt because I didn't have any control over that. So even the mere possibility of somebody judging me very negatively, such as by saying that I look a little weird and out of place, was enough to throw me off. But then at some point along the way, I discovered that those judgments are actually just matters of opinion. So there's no reason why I can't have my own opinion and say, you know what, I look just fine. And I found that the more I did that, the more confident I felt because now I had control over my own reality and my perception of myself. And so the first ingredient that I would propose is self-approval. Give much more weight to your own opinion of yourself rather than looking to other people to define your appearance or anything like that for you. Now, as sort of a prerequisite for your confidence to be called into question, you have to look at yourself as the one that's being judged rather than the one that's doing the judging, and saying that everybody around you kind of has that moral authority over you and whatever they say goes. But I would propose that you flip that around and say, no, it's not my responsibility to impress other people and earn their approval, but instead it's the opposite. I'm the one that's doing the judging rather than the one that's being judged. And as soon as you do that, you'll even start to look the part and people will actually give you that respect and you'll start to feel much more confident. Now, I'm not saying go around actively judging people in a negative way. Instead, I'm just saying that mindset shift is enough to improve your confidence. Now, whereas most of what we've talked about so far has been psychological, the realistic aspect of that, if you will, is to actually put the work in to become the person that if you were, you would feel much more confident in yourself. So you have to figure out what your values are and work towards embodying them so that you can know, rest assured, that you are that person rather than just playing pretend. So in my case, for example, I take a lot of confidence in knowing that I'm physically fit. I want to be the type of person that's healthy and disciplined and has a physically fit appearance. So to achieve that, obviously, I exercise regularly and I watch my diet. So at the end of the day, I know for a fact that I am physically fit and that I look good, at least in my opinion, rather than just having to claim that without having anything to back it up. Now, experience is an extremely powerful confidence builder because one of the major detractors from confidence is, like I said earlier, a fear of the unknown. So the more experience you have, the more knowledge you have of how these similar situations are going to transpire, and you know that it's not gonna be anything that dire. So that's why you have to take social risks and put yourself in leadership positions and get as much exposure as you can and face your fears rather than running from them in order to amass that experience and that knowledge base. So you kind of know how the movie ends, so to speak. And at the same time, you're also building a lot of self-trust because you've seen how you perform and how you carry yourself in those situations. So you know that no matter what happens, you're going to be okay because you're here now. You've made it this far, so you know you can handle something similar in the future. So as an example, I have much more confidence now speaking in front of crowds than I used to because of the amount of exposure I've had to it. So I know how the story ends. I know that regardless of how nervous I might get or if I fumble my words or something like that, worst case scenario, I might draw a little bit of mild criticism, but that usually never happens. People are usually supportive no matter what. But even if that does happen, eventually people just stop caring and it blows over. And so I know that I'm going to be okay either way. But if nothing else, it's important to note that nothing in life ever really is that big of a deal. And part of coming to that understanding is getting all that experience that I just talked about, where you see with your own two eyes that nothing ever really that bad is going to happen. So whether it's the prospect of failure or the opinions of others, we should be so lucky if all that stuff turns out to be the talk of the town. The reality is that nobody cares and you're going to be okay. And you're never going to look back on something and thank yourself for having not been confident, even if the opposite held true. It's not going to get you any better results. So you're better off just doing it anyway. So give yourself permission to be confident, to have strong body language and to give people a firm handshake and to make eye contact, to take charge when you are in charge and not be afraid to be the center of attention. And remember, the way to get there is to amass that experience and to assign much more weight to your perception of yourself rather than anybody else's perception of you. Now, again, remember, I'm not saying to be arrogant and by going around thinking you're better than anybody else. Instead, I'm just saying don't think that anybody else is better than you on a fundamental level. So if this helps, let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.